Welcome to Speak for Yourself, delivered by Pizza Hut. Don't say that to me right now. Order today at pizzahut.com. I'm Marcel Swiley. I'm hungry. And Emmanuel Acho is off today, so in honor of him, I'm wearing this burnt orange. All right, so I've got Slick Rick the Bucher with me for the show today. So let's get it started in the NFL, where we're one day away from the season kicking off in Tampa, where Dak Prescott and the Cowboys are looking to bounce back from a 6-win season. They'll face a tough task in Week 1. I saw that camera. The reigning Super Bowl champs, Tom Brady and the Bucs, returned all 22 starters from last year's title run. But Brady isn't taking the Cowboys lightly and has some nice things to say about Dak Prescott. Take a listen.
He's a really talented player. Really, since the day he got in the league, he's shown to be a great leader of the team. And, you know, we're just expecting him to play like Dak Prescott does. You know, he's very talented, moves in the pocket, throws a good ball. They got a lot of talented skill players. Dak's a great player, so they got one of the best offenses, a very talented defense. Linebackers are very deep at linebacker. They got a good push up front, and I think they have a very talented secondary. So it's a big challenge for our team.
Joined now by Fox NFL analyst Bucky Brooks. So, Slick Rick, how seriously should we take the Cowboys in the NFC?
We should take them seriously when it comes to their division in the NFC. We should not take them seriously when it comes to the NFC as a conference. And let's be clear, we're discussing this because of what Tom Brady said. We're not buying into what Tom Brady said, or at least I am not. He is doing what a good, savvy veteran quarterback would do when he is playing a seriously inferior team. He's trying to build them up so that his entire organization, teammates, etc., all take him seriously. Bruce Arians has done the exact same thing. And even with that, Tom Brady was trying to find ways to actually craft it to say, hey, you know what? They could be formidable in this Week 1. Even though they had the fifth worst record last season coming off of that, and they had a star-crossed, disjointed training camp. Nothing in training camp, nothing in preseason to suggest that they are going to be significantly better than last year. And look, I don't believe in groupthink. And I see, and I'm actually I'm interested in the fascination with the Dallas Cowboys and the willingness and desire to prop them up. So I went searching for someone who would give me reason to buy into that. And I looked at all of the power rankings that have been put out there. And the best that I could find is where they were ranked 6th, not among teams in the NFL, 6th among NFC teams. 7th was about the average. NFL.com, an outlet which I believe Mr. Brooks is familiar with, actually had them 9th behind the Washington football team. So I simply cannot take a team ranked 6th, 7th, 9th in power rankings coming into the season and look at them and say, you know what, I need to take them seriously as a contender to win the conference.
Oh, Slick Rick, you started off fast and you started off wrong. You better take them seriously right here. Look, I understand what Tom Brady was doing, and you did as well in terms of the PR of this moment, the public relations. Floyd Mayweather does the same thing after a fight, after he defeats his opponent. He talks nothing but nice things and pleasantries and glowing remarks about them. Tom Brady does it before he beats you and after he beats you. But these Cowboys, oh, they're not going to be in too many situations this year where they're going to be beaten. Let's talk about them, first of all, getting an opportunity to make the playoffs. They're going to win their division. We all know that. Here's some numbers to support that. Since the start of 2019, which team in that division has the best record? The Dallas Cowboys. Since 2017, which quarterback has the best record in that division? We know it's Dak Prescott at 16-3. He owns this division when healthy. Dak Prescott is healthy this year, and let's just hope for good fortune that he stays healthy this year. That said, now you're in the dance. You give yourself a chance once you show up to the dance. Now let's look at these Dallas Cowboys. And I'm going to use Tom Brady as the interpreter. You know why Tom Brady's putting respect on the Dallas Cowboys? Because Tom Brady remembers last year in the playoffs in his first round that he was going against a team that was led by Tyler Heineke. And you remember how that game was going? Yeah, fourth quarter, one score away. They barely beat the Washington football team. Y'all want to go to the next game when they were playing New Orleans? Oh, they were down 6 early in that game. You want to go to the Green Bay game, a decision here, a run there, a call there, and that game may have flipped as well. So Tom Brady is speaking from experience of how it's a thin line between love and hate in football. Or as we all say, it's a game of inches. You look at the Dallas Cowboys that are going to win their division. That talented team finds itself in the playoffs with all of those weapons on offense and a rejuvenated, re-energized defense and a new defensive coordinator that they all possess in Dallas. Oh, Dallas is ready to contend in the NFC.
Oh, Rick. Slick Rick took a shot at me, the outlet that I sometimes contribute to. Look, faith is the substance of things.
Sometimes. Now it's sometimes contribute to.
He distanced himself. You saw that?
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So here's what I want to say about the Cowboys. The Cowboys certainly have an offense that high-powered is one of the reasons why the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have to worry about them. When Dak Prescott was injured a season ago, he was averaging over 30 points a game, or this team was averaging over 30 points a game. You look at his 3 weapons on the outside, Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper. Those guys are all capable of going for a 100-yard game at any time. And then Ezekiel Elliott, having had a chance to watch Ezekiel Elliott, he is fit and trim. Look, he's back to his college playing weight. And so if Ezekiel Elliott is right, the offensive line certainly is good enough to pay holes for him. And then you have Dak Prescott, who is able to throw to those weapons. They certainly can make any game a shootout. But then, Rick, even listening to what Tom Brady is saying about the Cowboys linebackers and their defense, they certainly are talented enough to give them problems. And the rookie, Michael Parsons, who will be used kind of like the queen on the chessboard, he is the one who could be problematic. I wouldn't discount the Dallas Cowboys, not only in this game, but as a team that could make a run in the NFC. They certainly are loaded enough to do so.
Boom.
Okay, I'm not going to discount them. I'm not discounting them. But everything that you guys are talking about is on paper, okay? My problem is that I haven't seen any of that in the preseason. You're telling me, Marcellus, you just walked right by it. You went real quick. You know, when Dak Prescott is healthy. No, he's healthy enough. We don't know how healthy he is or if he is completely healthy because we haven't seen him. Those weapons that you talked about in Ezekiel Elliott, Bucky, we haven't seen them. I mean, we've seen them, but we haven't seen them play. So when I look at where they were and I look at their potential, I'm with you. There are reasons to be optimistic that this could be a different season, but I haven't seen it. And this training camp, this preseason, you guys have to admit, did not go the way the Dallas Cowboys had hoped it would go because you did not have Dak Prescott. Never mind playing or not playing in preseason games. He wasn't practicing for a good part of it. Neither was Amari Cooper. Neither was Ezekiel Elliott. So while I can look at them and say they have the capability of being good, to say that they are a serious contender in the NFC right now, based on what I've seen, I just don't have any basis for it.
Oh, man. Well, you keep talking about all these guys that missed some practice in training camp. Sounds like to me they're going to have fresh legs when the season starts because you're looking at a guy who didn't practice one time my first year as a starter and made the Pro Bowl and balled out. So, I mean, all that practice stuff, look, if you're a baller, you're a baller. You don't forget how to ride a bike. Dak Prescott's not going to forget how to throw a football. And Slick, I love your props. I love your piece of paper. And you said that's what we use as a basis. But damn, didn't you just bring up power rankings? And if that is not based on paper and just start, who gives a damn? I ain't getting no power from somebody else's power ranking. I get my power from my game when I'm between the white lines. But you're going to put up the power rankings from NFL.com. And that's how we're supposed to play and be slotted. Man, let me give you something real. Let's talk about how the fact that this is the easiest division to win. Now, I understand the AFC South is sitting there saying, that's us, because they got Jacksonville and Houston out there. But I'm saying, by record, 7 wins won this division last year. Obviously, this year it's going to be more. But let's talk about that quarterback that you haven't seen in the preseason. So now you're starting to question Dak Prescott, Mr. Money Man himself. Why would you question this guy? Because let's talk about this, and I need to see some Bucky face as well as some Slick Rick face when I talk about this. Dak Prescott in that division, the last 11 games against the NFC East teams. You want to know what his win-loss record is? 10-1. Woo, Slick Rick, this ain't just paper, bro. This is real. Completion percentage, over 70%. Slick Rick, yeah, shake your head. Think about this one. Passer rating, 111. Oh, my goodness. 25 touchdowns, just 6 interceptions. They own the division, and Dak owns the division. Now, you add all of that up, they're going to win the division. How are you not a contender if you find yourselves in the playoffs with all these weapons? So let's take it from the paper to the field and realize that the division is the Dallas Cowboys for the taking.
Oh, Marcellus, I love what you're speaking because I can tell Marv Levy has certainly imparted some wisdom on you because the guarantee to get to the playoffs is to win the division, and the Dallas Cowboys own the division with Dak Prescott under center. But you, Rick, you NBA guru, you wizard of all things basketball, you should know we talking about practice. Practice. We're not talking about games.
Right.
We talking about practice. And Dak Prescott, I cannot believe that you're so hung up on Dak Prescott not being available for practice because it's just practice. It's training camp. It's just training camp. We're just trying to get to the games when it really matters.
Facts.
And now we're at the games, and guess what? He's a full participant in practice. And so because practice is so important to you, just know that Dak Prescott is practicing with that offense that is much vaunted and is one of the reasons why the Cowboys have to be considered contenders. It's practice.
I'm glad that he finally is. But look, Marcellus, all of your numbers about the division, I told you at the beginning, I believe in them when it comes to the division.
Right.
I do think they're the team to beat in the division. I don't think it's going to be a walkover of the Washington football team as much as you think it is. But the fact of the matter is, it's not that Dak Prescott played all last season and then isn't practicing right now. It's that Dak Prescott didn't play most of last season and didn't practice in training camp. So give me a reason to believe. You guys just assume automatically that Dak Prescott is going to come back and it's going to be exactly what Dak Prescott was the last time we saw him. Well, the first day of training camp, he comes back and he immediately injures his shoulder because of the leg that he's playing on. So I need to see that there's not this dynamic, this kinetic dynamic with him physically, that he can be exactly what we saw the last time we saw him. And that is why, being serious, again, I will take them serious in the division. But in the conference, and the power rankings wasn't a reflection of paper, it was a matter of those are based on all the other teams that they have to go up against in the NFC. And if you told me that those teams had dropped off, or those teams were facing the same issues that I've seen the Dallas Cowboys face over the last 12 months, I'd say, okay, there's reason to shift it. But those decisions, all those power rankings weren't built just writing them down on paper. They were based on what we've seen, not just by the Dallas Cowboys, but from all the other teams that they have to go through.
All right, Slick. It's so funny, man, doing this show with you today because I know I'm going to get some tweets right now from some outsiders who are like, wow, Marcellus and Slick are finally hosting the show together for the first time. But that's what outsiders think. But you and I know each other, Slick. Oh, the insiders know we go way back to other networks, way back, talking long time.
Yes, sir.
Way back, Vegas times, Vegas story. Slick. All I want you to know is I'm an insider to the Dallas Cowboys. And let me tell you something. Ain't nothing wrong with Dak Prescott right now. This dude was put on ice just because he's just such an investment and such a key piece to what they do that they didn't want to risk it. And why risk it when it doesn't count? preseason, training camp. But now, the bullets are live. The bullets are real. So Dak Prescott will be there. But Slick, since I'm an insider not only on football and the Dallas Cowboys, but an insider to our relationship, let's go deeper with our relationship, shall we? Because you brought up other teams in the NFC. Don't do this, Slick. You know me. I come with some notes. You talk about the other contenders out there. Like, oh, the Dallas Cowboys need to be scared of who? The Green Bay Packers? Really? When Aaron Rodgers is 7-8 in the playoffs since his Super Bowl win? Is that a win and a losing record? Since Aaron Rodgers can't get out his own way when it matters most? Oh, okay. We're scared of them. Not.
Bucky, I know you're not co-signing this.
Hey, I ain't done. I ain't done. Ducky go co-sign. I hope a little
keep
of this. What about the Rams? How they quarterback look in the playoffs? Oh, Ofa, Donuts, Randy's. Let's talk about the Saints. We going with Jameis Winston now. Okay, he looks good in the preseason. We'll see when it's live. I believe in Jameis, but still, I don't know if that team's going to be the same. Seahawks, how they look in the playoffs? 1-4 in their last 5 playoff games. Boy, and the offense can't even finish the season. In the regular season, second half collapses. And then we got the Bucks. Damn, it's hard to make up something bad. Say a con against the Bucks. Except no team has defended their Super Bowl title in 17 years. And that was the same quarterback on that team and this team. So if anybody could do it, it's Tom Brady. But the problem is, it's so hard to do. That said, man, the Dallas Cowboys going to walk into the dance, and then they going to start the boogie, because it ain't too many people out there that scares them.
Well, I mean, look, Marcellus made really good points when you bring up the other teams. Let's throw Tampa out of this, because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the defending champions. However, they were also a team that was 7-5, and they didn't look dynastic last year. So we're assuming that they're going to be a vastly improved team, just given the fact that they won the Super Bowl and they're all together. But all of the other teams also have question marks, whether it's the Seattle Seahawks and a new offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron, trying to get Russell Wilson right, the San Francisco 49ers trying to determine which quarterback is the right quarterback for them, the Rams and Matthew Stafford, who may or may not be an upgrade over Jared Goff. Ooh. The Green Bay Packers have a quarterback that doesn't even want to be there. So we don't even know which other teams in the NFC will really emerge as viable contenders. So to discount and dismiss the Dallas Cowboys too soon when they are the clear favorites to win the division, to me, right now, based on what we just had, it sounds like the Dallas Cowboys might be the second best team in the NFC as opposed to the power rankings that you were subscribing to, saying 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever those people were saying.
Yeah.
Dallas might be the bell of fall when it's all said and done.
I only wish that we could compare what the Cowboys have done in the playoffs to all those teams Marcellus mentioned, but unfortunately, we don't have anything. Kyle Shanahan got creative with the 49ers quarterbacks in San Francisco's third and final preseason game, alternating Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance on the same drive. Now, Jimmy G is still officially listed as QB1, but former 49ers left tackle Joe Staley sees the value in Kyle Shanahan mixing in Trey Lance from the start. Take a listen.
It's going to be very scary. I think this is a hand-picked quarterback in Kyle Shanahan's system, and I think what's so exciting about it is now you have to play an 11-on-11 football. You have to account for the quarterback when Trey's out there. And I think there's going to be packages in certain situations that he'll come in. I actually don't even think it was going to be a lot like how it was in the third preseason game where they're rotating first series. Now, it could be, but I believe there's going to be a very dictated situational football that he comes in.
All right, Bucky is back with us after checking in with his NFL.com peeps. But Marcellus, I'm going to go to you first. Who gives the 49ers a better chance of winning the Super Bowl, Trey Lance or Jimmy G?
Oh, it's Jimmy G, the winner. You know who Jimmy G is, that genie in the lamp. All he can do is win when he's healthy. Take this team to the Super Bowl in his only healthy year as a starter. And it's not even really close. But I'm going to do something here and take you guys through a journey. My journey is going to be woven into the journey of my man Trey Lance to let you know why this is Jimmy G's job, or at least it should be. Let's talk about one. Trey Lance is going to learn the fine art one day of throwing from the pocket. But right now, he doesn't know how to throw from the pocket. In the pocket, oh man, you got to understand how this goes. Let's talk about his issues in the pocket and his 46.3 completion percentage in the preseason. Oh, it's just preseason. Let's talk about college. Oh, the same guy who's thrown and completed only 15 passes in the last 2 years? No. Before that. Oh, the guy who has only 318 pass attempts in 17 games at North Dakota State. Fewest college passes thrown by a first-round quarterback in 40 years. Let's go back in time since we talked about 40 years ago. There's a guy by the name of Joel Bushbaum. Respect to the guy, the guru, the inspiration behind the NFL draft, basically. This guy was the purest of the sport. Now, I remember coming out of college, and I remember reading all the evaluators talking about me and my skill set. And it's so funny to hear about people talk about you versus what you know about yourself, right? And I was reading everybody. I don't want to name any names like Mel Kiper. I want to name any names like Todd McShay. I want to name any names. But only one of them nailed me, and it hurt because he hit me right where it hurt. He said, great athlete, will be good, maybe injury prone, and has tight hips. Nobody else saw that. Nobody else said that. Everyone else was just, man, look how big and fast and strong he is and what he did at the combine. And Joel Bushbaum nailed me. Why I bring that up? Because I don't know who wrote this on Trey Lance, but somebody may have nailed him. Locks on to primary read. Takes off running when first read is covered. Slow to work through progressions. Needs to get comfortable throwing into tight windows. When I saw him in the preseason, because I actually saw him in the preseason, went to the Chargers game, 49ers-Chargers, I saw a guy who has some of those same issues. It's okay. This is just a month of him playing NFL football versus a veteran, a winner in Jimmy G. So if the 49ers are smart, if they really want to give themselves the best opportunity for success, this is not a conversation. It's Jimmy G's job.
Yeah, Trey Lance gives them the best chance of winning the Super Bowl because it's not about who you believe, Marcellus, gives them the best chance, or even who I think gives them the best chance. It's who Kyle Shanahan thinks gives them the best chance, because that's the guy who's going to be given the best chance to win the Super Bowl. And based on everything that I've seen to this point, Kyle Shanahan is tipping the scales in Trey Lance's favor, trying to find every which way, not only that he can build him up and get him ready as quickly as possible, but even tipping the scales when it comes to how he's being graded. You're right. The numbers and statistics say that it wasn't a stellar preseason. And yet, when he has struggled and then done well after the fact, Kyle Shanahan has made that a plus, saying, that's exactly what I needed to see. I needed to see him struggle and then see that he was capable of recovering. We know what Kyle Shanahan believes when it comes to Jimmy G. He believes that he's not good enough to get the job done. Otherwise, they would not have spent all that they did in order to get Trey Lance. And I dare say that the play calling is going to be different between the two. He's going, and Joe Staley speaks to it, like the play calling is going to be dynamic for Trey Lance, far more dynamic than it is for Jimmy G. And it was as a result, if we're asking who's going to have the best chance of winning the Super Bowl for the 49ers, it's the guy who's going to be given that chance and had that chance amplified by exactly how the game is called.
You know, I think both of you guys make terrific arguments. And in fact, I believe both guys are essential for the 49ers making a Super Bowl run. Jimmy Garoppolo is 22-8 as the 49ers starter. We have seen when healthy what he's been able to do in this offense. It moves. He can operate from the pocket, outside the pocket. Jimmy Garoppolo does a great job of playing within the confines of the system that Kyle Shanahan wants to create. However, Kyle Shanahan's imagination runs wild when he has an opportunity to put Trey Lance on the field. He gets a chance to do the fun stuff that offensive coaches like to do, draw up plays, utilize the guy, take advantage of all of his talent as a runner to enhance what is already a very dangerous running game. I believe this comes from Kyle Shanahan being able to pop in tape and look at what the Baltimore Ravens have been able to do in leading the league in rushing in each of the past 2 years, with Lamar Jackson being the point man. When you have a guy like Trey Lance, who forces defenses to play 11-on-11 football to an offense that's already creative in the running game, it creates mismatches and headaches for defensive coordinators while also bringing in Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo's durability history suggests that Trey Lance is going to get on the field, but I believe that Kyle Shanahan wants to put both of these guys on the field during games to allow the defense to have problems adjusting to the style that he switches with each guy in the game.
Okay, let's get there. Let's go there. Y'all keep talking about Kyle Shanahan, huh? Y'all want to talk about Kyle Shanahan? Oh, man, he over there just imagine how it could be. Oh, my God, if he could get with Trey Lance, look what they can do. Y'all trust Kyle Shanahan? That's interesting. Y'all trust the coach that has a .433 win percentage? Last time I checked, that's under 500. Oh, y'all trust him? And then you say, well, he doesn't trust Jimmy G. So he doesn't trust Jimmy G to get the job done, but y'all trust him when Jimmy G's the only quarterback he's ever been able to get the job done with? What sense does that make? You know what Kyle Shanahan gonna do? He gonna do what Devin the Dude told you not to do. He said, don't give up for show production. For more production, you end up with no production. And that's what's going to happen if y'all try to bench Jimmy G and have Trey Lance out there, or even this dual system of let him go in for this series, let him go in there for this play. It makes no sense. Jimmy G is 22-8 as a starter. Kyle Shanahan is 7-27 without Jimmy G. And y'all trust Kyle Shanahan. Okay, go ahead. It's funny, y'all trust Kyle Shanahan to say, let's share the opportunities with Jimmy G and Trey Lance. I ask you guys, would you do this with Patrick Mahomes? Would you do this with Lamar Jackson? No. No. So why in the hell are you going to do it with Jimmy G when Jimmy G has led his team to the third most points per game of any starting quarterback since 1970? And the only two in front of him are Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. So we ain't going to make them share time because, duh, that's dumb. How come we're not looking at the guy who's right behind him as like, yeah, that's kind of dumb as well? Jimmy G has one issue, staying healthy. I get it. So let's play him until he gets hurt. But until then, we're not sharing his experience because the resume shows that with Jimmy G, not only are you going to score, but you're going to win.
Yeah, the only problem I have with that is that you're making it sound as if Jimmy G did all that by himself and never had Kyle Shanahan with him. The Kyle Shanahan has just been a Trey Lance guy. Like, they just both arrived on the scene. And why are you changing things up? Because Jimmy G has been so good up to this point. Here's the other problem. Again, you're kind of bringing up all the reasons why Kyle Shanahan might get fired for going with Trey Lance. Which is a conversation for another day, and who knows, we may get there. It's just a matter for me of who gives them the best chance, and based on giving up 3 first-round picks and a third in order to get Trey Lance, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan are almost forced to find a way to justify spending all that to get Trey Lance by giving him every opportunity to do the one thing that Jimmy G couldn't, which was finish the deal. Otherwise, they have to answer the question, well, wait a minute. Why did we trade all those picks to get a guy that can't play ahead of the guy that we already had? So for me, the problem that Jimmy G faces is that the die is already cast. When the 49ers made the move to get Trey Lance, they were putting their bet on Trey Lance, getting them to the place, the one thing that Jimmy G could not, which is a Super Bowl win.
You know, Rick, I appreciate you leaving that for me because I'm going to speak it in Marcellus's terms. Marcellus, I think 2 rappers, the late Nipsey Hussle and YG, said, last time that I checked, well, the last time that I checked with Jimmy Garoppolo, he is always hurt. And when he's always hurt, he's unavailable. So then Kyle Shanahan is always having to go to the bullpen. So rather than put him out there so he ultimately disappoints him, what he wants to do is maybe make him a part-time player. Maybe utilize him at times, Trey Lance, to take some of the pressure off of Jimmy Garoppolo. Because we know ultimately what history says is Jimmy Garoppolo is going to miss some time. So I need to get the young guy ready to be able to assume the responsibilities of a starter so this offense can continue to go on. I can talk about the 2 quarterback platoon and why I believe it will be successful, but ultimately the San Francisco 49ers have to have 2 quarterbacks because QB1 is somewhere down the line going to be unavailable. So it's not about Jimmy Garoppolo being removed, even though they took Trey Lance number 3 overall because they want to replace him. It's the odds in his history saying he is not going to be available. So let me get someone who can do what we want to do when he's sitting on the sideline, and we don't have to have the offense skip a beat.
Oh, man, look, I get it. You got to justify the pick. And I understand the job security that's motivating them to justify the pick. I get all that. Look, survival of the fittest, I get it. But damn, like, y'all been in a relationship, y'all married men, y'all understand this. My wife tries to justify her purchases sometime as well. She buy that bag. I'm like, why you buy that bag? And then she try to justify it instead of just taking the damn bag back, right? So all of a sudden, look, baby, let's go bowling. She bringing that big-ass bag. I'm like, why you bringing that big, expensive bag? We going bowling. You know, just going to the park. You don't have to do everything just because it's in tow. What you should do in priority is use up Jimmy Garoppolo, because as you guys keep telling me, he's always hurt. Okay, if he's always hurt, he's healthy right now. So let's use him right now until he gets injured. Then you have your insurance policy called Trey Lance. Best chance when Jimmy G has the 4th best win percentage of all quarterbacks since the merger. And y'all trying to tell me, oh, Trey Lance gives them the best chance. What is he going to be, top 3? Miss me with that. Let's move to Green Bay. A little different than Vegas. Aaron Rodgers put the Packers through a lot this offseason, due in part to the reigning MVP's desire to have a voice in the roster-building process. In July, the two sides were able to come to an agreement that got Rodgers back in the building, along with his pal, Randall Cobb. Womp, womp, womp. Rodgers says there's better communication than in years past, adding, quote, for me, it was just wanting to have a bigger impact in decisions that directly affect my job that I feel like I'm competent enough to communicate. Nobody knows the locker room. Nobody has been around this place in a position of influence longer than I have. Sparta! Nobody knows the product like I do on the field. Damn, Aaron. Drunk off that power. We're joined now by Joy Taylor, co-host of The Herd on FS1. So, Joy, who I've known for decades. Decades. Finally, we get it going. Do the Packers owe it to Aaron Rodgers to include him in their decision-making?
Owe it? Of course they owe him to be involved in their decision-making. At the very least, they owe him communication, right? When you're one of 5 men walking the earth, breathing air on Beyonce's planet. Yes, you are owed a solicitation of your advice. Five starting quarterbacks in the NFL have won a Super Bowl. Ben Roethlisberger, Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, the great Tom Brady, and who? Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers. 5 men. That means 5 men walking the earth have accomplished that and are still leading their team. Now, among those 5 men, other than Ben Roethlisberger, who I can't confirm, and I like to speak in facts, can't confirm that he's been solicited on personnel decisions. But we do know Patrick Mahomes has. We know Tom Brady has. Russell Wilson made it known this year he'd like some communication as well, and they gave it to him. So all Aaron Rodgers is asking for, being a 1% of a 1%, and actually that's probably not the correct math. Math is not really my thing, but when you're 5 of everyone on planet Earth,
yes,
it's smaller than 1%.
Yes.
When you're one of those 5, I think it's fair to say, hey, I know a thing or two about a thing or two, because I've seen a thing or two. Maybe just ask me what I think about, I don't know, my quarterback's coach, or text me if you're going to trade up in the draft and take my possible replacement, and then I go win league MVP, which is the other thing I should mention when I'm talking about those 5, because of those 5 men, he was the best last year. So what he's asking for is not unreasonable. Now, if you believe, just blanketly, that no one who is a player should be asked anything about what they think or feel about personnel or what's going on with the team or coaches or any of that, then sure, it's very easy to say what he's saying is egregious. You're an employee. Get in line. But if you think that the quarterback, the leader, the face of the team with a ton of experience and success should maybe be in the room when you make some decisions, or just, you give him a heads up about things, then who is more qualified than Aaron Rodgers to be in that situation? I'm pretty sure Oprah got to pick some producers in her 16th year of the Oprah Winfrey Show. On Beyonce's planet, I'm pretty sure Beyonce at this point has a say in who her backup dancers are. Now, they both make a lot of money, and so does Aaron Rodgers. But it is not unrealistic for him to say, hey, I'd like a heads up if you're going to draft my replacement in Jordan Love, and I'd like a say or two, or at least just to be heard. Just hear me out on some personnel decisions. So, yes, they owe it to him.
No, I can't go so far, Joy, as to say that they owe it to him. And the distinction between some of the examples you made with Beyonce and others in terms of the comparison to Aaron Rodgers is that the show cannot go on without Beyonce. The show can go on without Aaron Rodgers. It may not be as good, but it can go on. You can find another quarterback to replace him. So, no, they don't owe it to him. It's not in his contract. It's not definitive that this is the role that he's supposed to have. But they would have been smart to involve him. And I think the problem is that, one, and I don't know why this is, but I can tell you that the same exists in the NBA, is that executives, for some reason, are afraid to tell players the truth. They're afraid to engage with them and tell them exactly what they're thinking. And I don't understand why that is. It's almost like they're not capable of handling the truth. Or maybe the execs aren't always sure that their truth is justifiable with what it is they're doing. Can't explain why that is, but nonetheless, with someone like Aaron Rodgers, we think too black and white. Like if we give him a voice, if we talk it over with him, that doesn't mean that you have to do what he wants. More than anything, it's your opportunity to explain why it is that you're doing what you're doing. And even in a case as difficult and challenging as going to draft another quarterback in the first round, if the Green Bay Packers had gone to Aaron Rodgers and said, look, you've fallen off the last 2 years. That's not making that up. That's fact. You've fallen off the last 2 years. We have to start thinking about who your successor is. We're not making a move now. It's still your job. But we need to start getting ready for when you're not here, just like we did with you and Brett Favre. And maybe Aaron wouldn't have liked it, but he would have understood it. He would have had to understand it. And if he didn't, that would have been on him. So that's the issue that I have with the Green Bay Packers. Not that they have to involve Aaron, but that it would have benefited them to involve Aaron, and they haven't done it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, you don't owe him jack. Everything that you owe him is in that contract. And if he had the foresight or if he had the understanding of what he was owed, he would have put it in the contract. But since it's not in there, we don't owe you anything. Aaron Rodgers knows that you can't reach up when you're an employee to the employer and tell him what you owe. Nuh-uh. That's not how it works. You know how it works? They look at you and say, okay, I can make you happy. I can be nice to you. I can pacify you. I can say some pleasantries to you. I can make it seem like you're a part of this process, but these wheels are going to spin with or without your input. So if he wanted to get pacified, sure. Just like we saw over there in Philadelphia with Carson Wentz when they called him to let him know, hey, we're going to draft Jalen Hurts. And he was like, okay, cool. You know why he said okay, cool? Because he didn't have an option. Now, if Aaron Rodgers wants to be in that position, we're like, okay, cool. Y'all going to draft Jordan Love because they ain't going to listen to you. They're not going to say, oh, you know what, Aaron, you right. So Aaron Rodgers is just caught between a rock and a hard place. And you want to know why he's caught between a rock and a hard place, Joy? It's not just because Aaron Rodgers is one of the 5 men walking on Bay's planet. Nah, it's because Aaron Rodgers, when they need him most, Joy, guess what? He ain't there for him. Oh, yes, we gonna go there. I'm gonna just slice this up the way it should be because I saw a guy by the name of Aaron Rodgers in multiple championship games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that number again, 5. So 5 men on the planet are Aaron Rodgers, and 5 times he's been in a championship game. What is his passer rating in those championship games? 83.7. What? What about Mark Sanchez? He's only been to 2 championship games. What's his passer rating? 98? Mark Sanchez? Respect to the homie who works here now. Okay, what about Aaron Rodgers in his last 3 championship games? Let's keep it recent, because you know he just won MVP. So let's get some recency bias in here. How they looked in the first half of those games? Outscored 72-10. Damn, Aaron Rodgers. How many first half touchdowns have you thrown for in those 3 games? 1? Oh, Aaron Rodgers, you 83 passer rate, 9 touchdown, 8 interception, 1-4 record when we need you most. So guess what? We don't owe you jack, because when we need you, it seems like you don't show up for us.
I'm glad you mentioned showing up, because Aaron Rodgers plays one side of the ball, right? I didn't hear any defensive statistics.
No, that ain't gonna help my
when you were mentioning all that. Oh no, it doesn't help. No, it doesn't. It doesn't help your argument because in 2010, when they won that Super Bowl, he had a top 5 scoring defense.
Yeah.
Which means he didn't have to score 35 points to win a game every single time.
How about more than 7
in
though, George?
2018, total defense 18th, scoring defense 22nd. 2019, scoring defense better, total defense 18th. 2020, 13th in scoring defense.
But you're the MVP. You can't overcome that?
Listen, you should. That's why they were in back-to-back NFC Championship games, which is pretty impressive. And let's do everyone a favor here, and let's not put Carson Wentz and Aaron Rodgers in the same category, right? I think we can say.
I know you treat Carson Wentz better than Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, like you treat Carson Wentz better than Aaron Rodgers.
They did. I mean, did the results speak
well,
for itself?
as far as giving him a heads up, sure. But let's keep it real. Aaron Rodgers is better than Carson Wentz at this point. He's putting in a little bit more sweat equity with the Packers at this point.
Oh, the worst Aaron Rodgers is better than the best Carson.
But I do agree with you. I do agree with you, Rick, that I feel like they do owe him. I don't think that the employer situation applies when you're talking about stars and the level of talent and the minimal level of talent that we're talking about. You can't apply it. So this isn't an assembly line type of situation. So I do feel like the Packers owe him that. And to your point about Oprah and Beyonce and being replaceable, if they really felt like Aaron Rodgers was replaceable, then after all of this offseason drama, why isn't Jordan Love the starter in Green Bay? Do they feel good about him leaving and that's the situation? Replaceable is not always the situation. Are the Packers going to exist without Aaron Rodgers moving forward? Of course. Are they going to be a cornerstone franchise in this league moving forward without Aaron Rodgers? Of course. Are they going to be competitive without Aaron Rodgers? Of course. Do you feel like in the next year, without Aaron Rodgers, where I believe he is leaving, that they're going to be in the Super Bowl conversation without Aaron Rodgers? Because if your goal is just to show up and, like, be cute, sure, then that's great. If you're trying to get a ring, then no, that's not great. And that is the difference between being replaceable and not being replaceable.
Yeah, the reason that Aaron Rodgers is still in a Green Bay uniform is because it benefits the Green Bay Packers to still have him in a uniform. Jordan Love is not ready to take them where they hope that Jordan Love can take them. So why not take advantage of the fact that you have control over Aaron Rodgers and keep him for at least one more year and see that if you can finish the deal that you weren't able to the last couple of years. This is always the challenge because I do believe that players should be involved or you should take advantage of your players' knowledge. But players operate on a different system and timeline than teams do. The best teams have one eye on the present and one eye on the future. Their decision-making is always looking at the two. How good can we be right now without fully sacrificing our future? Aaron Rodgers doesn't care about that. Particularly now, if at any time in his career, he doesn't care about that because it's like, I only have so much time left. I'm trying to win right now. Of course, he would rather have that first-round pick used on a wide receiver or some other element other than his backup. But that said, he's thinking about now. And the Green Bay Packers, being a responsible franchise, are thinking about now and the future. So I don't have a problem with what the Packers are doing. It's more how they're doing it. They didn't have to create this fuss with Aaron. They simply could have involved him. They could have listened. They could have explained what they were doing. And if Aaron wasn't accepting of that, then that's on Aaron as opposed to the Packers. And I dare say, whatever Patrick Mahomes or even Tom Brady had to say, it wasn't changing what Andy Reid or Bill Belichick were planning on doing. It may have informed it, it may have confirmed it, but it certainly wasn't going to dramatically change it.
Yeah, they invited their own problems. Like, it's a problem they can deal with because it's Aaron Rodgers, and they're like, dog, we're not listening to you, but we could have pacified you in this moment to make you feel good, to make you feel like you felt involved, a part of this process. But I would have did what I do a lot of times, like most people. Most people don't listen. They just wait to talk again. You know what I'm saying? And you know when to chime in, You know when to shake your head, You know when to do that. Aaron Rodgers, what should we do? Yeah, okay, draft it, And then after that, he would have walked out the room. We ain't changing a damn thing on this draft board. Simple as that. And you want to know why, Aaron? Because I know you're great, multiple-time MVP, Super Bowl champion, blah, 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 one of the top 5. However, we're trying to get a ring, as Joy said. And last time I checked, to get a ring, we got to do our thing in the NFC Championship game. Last time I checked, that 1-4 record is hurting our opportunities. Last time I checked, it's not just because of the defense, homeboy. Aaron Rodgers in the first half of NFC Championship games. Y'all want to hear these stats? Because the defense gets blamed ultimately, but boy, Aaron, if you came out playing like Aaron Rodgers, maybe we wouldn't be in this predicament. 2 touchdowns and 6 interceptions and a 67 passer rating. Boy, I go deep with these numbers. Hey, Aaron Rodgers, keep looking at the defense like they can't hold up their end of the bargain. They looking at you like, where'd you go? Especially in the first half when we need you most.
The AFC North might just be the toughest division in the NFL, both historically and heading into this season. 3 teams from the division, the Steelers, Ravens, and Browns, all made the playoffs last season, and my Bengals are on the rise with Joe Burrow back from his knee injury. You know who else is back? Joy Taylor is back with us, but Marcellus, I'm going to ask you first. Who wins the AFC North?
Oh, I'm torn right now between doing my job and doing what I just want to do. So let me do my job first. I think the Cleveland Browns, along with the Pittsburgh Steelers and Baltimore Ravens, are going to run neck and neck in this division. I mean, they're going to be must-watch games between those. But I'm going to give the edge to what I want to do and say. The Baltimore Ravens. Let me tell you why. I'm going to start here. Point differential. I remember I got schooled up on point differential because I used to be a talent-based, evaluator. I'm looking at who team is the best. Oh, the team that got the most talent. Then you start learning from the Patriots and teams that go out there and play smart football, teams that go out there and protect the football, teams that go out there and play disciplined football, complementary football. It's not just a talent-based evaluation. So now, with point differential, what it highlights is the fact that when you beat up on teams, you beat up on teams. Wonder what team last year had the highest point differential per game? Baltimore Ravens. You know why? Because they're that talented and they're that good, that skilled. Now, people can say, okay, but what about the other top teams in terms of point differential and how they fare for them? I see the Green Bay Packers, NFC Championship game. I see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Super Bowl champions. And I see the Buffalo Bills, AFC Championship game. Other team in there in the top 5, New Orleans Saints, playoff team. Here's the point. If you look at the Baltimore Ravens, what they can do is anything you want them to do. Whether it's through the passing game, even though they have their issues and their woes between the philosophy and the play calling and also some of the production at the wide receiver position. Lamar Jackson still a couple years ago led the NFL in passing touchdowns. You talk about the running game? Oh, that's the best running game you're going to see in the NFL. So then you add it all up, and what they do best is be unconventional. Even though they have a compromised passing game, they still can go out there and beat you in the passing game, but more importantly, supported by the running game. Last but not least, Joy tried to challenge me last segment and say, I didn't hear you talk about defense. So now, I love to self-correct. Let me talk about the Baltimore Ravens defense. Oh, it allowed the second fewest points last season of all NFL teams. You talk about a balanced attack, and you talk about complementary football with the second best defense in scoring points. Oh, you got to be the Baltimore Ravens winning this division.
What did I do to deserve this question? The one guy who's a Bengals fan on this show, and I have to discuss who's going to win the AFC North, knowing without question it is not my team.
Not at all.
And so it pains me. And ultimately, I'm with you, Marcellus. I do believe that this is going to be a fierce fight. I bring it down to the Browns and the Ravens. I think they have a half a step on the Steelers. I need to see what Ben Roethlisberger is coming back with before I can put them in the circle with those other two. So I flipped a coin, and I went with the Cleveland Browns. And I only went there because in looking at how this is going to shake down, I believe they're so close that head-to-head matchups and head-to-head results could ultimately decide who gets the nod in terms of winning the division. And the schedule makers clearly are giving an advantage to the Cleveland Browns when it comes to that department. These two teams, the Browns and the Ravens, are going to play each other twice in a matter of 3 weeks. But it is set up for the Cleveland Browns to take advantage. They go to Baltimore, and then they have a bye week, and then they get to host the Ravens at home. Meanwhile, the Ravens have to go play the Pittsburgh Steelers in between the two games against the Cleveland Browns. And, oh, by the way, in this run-up to that 3-game stretch for the Ravens, they've got to play and go play the Chicago Bears in Chicago while the Browns get to play the Detroit Lions at home. So only because of how closely matched I think these two teams are and how competitive the division is going to be, I'm giving the nod to Cleveland because it is set up for them to take advantage of the head-to-head matchup.
Close.
Yeah, as much as I disagreed with you guys about Aaron Rodgers, we're all kind of on the same page here. The AFC North, the NFC West, I think are the two best divisions in football. 3 of these teams were in the playoffs last year, and as a girl born and raised in Pittsburgh, it pains me to say this, but it also kind of gives me pause that we're all sort of ignoring the Steelers as well. But I'm with you, Rick. I'm going to go with the Browns. It's splitting hairs because obviously the Ravens or the Steelers could easily win this division as well. But Baker is playing for that contract, so I think that will be a factor in this season. Kevin Stefanski has finally established a culture in Cleveland, so they have a style, they have an energy, they have momentum. I love their running backs. I love their defense. I love the additions that they made in the offseason. They were very aggressive, and there are things I don't like about the other teams in the division. For example, I don't like the running back situation with the Ravens, the injuries. That's a big question mark for me. And in this division, we know how important it is to be able to run the ball. When you talk about the Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger looked good in the preseason, but how is he going to fare in a 17-game season? They've got a rookie running back. I still have some questions about that. And, of course, you have the Bengals. Sorry, Rick. But as much as I love Joe Burrow, I don't think this is the year that they're going to come out and win the division. So it's very tight, small window, but I'm going to go with the Browns. I like the momentum that they have going into the season. And, again, Baker's playing for that contract, so I think that that will play a role as well.
Oh, you like their momentum, huh? Last time I saw the Browns, they were losing a game. Last time I saw the Ravens, they were losing a game.
Well, that game against the Steelers is burned permanently in my brain.
See, that's the thing. You start watching after that. They played again.
Yeah.
And they played a backup, and they couldn't even beat the backup. But I'm going to let that live because I'm going with the Ravens, and last time I saw them, they were losing a close one to Buffalo, throwing a pick six as well. So now, since I can't go out there in hypotheticals, let's get real with this. Let's talk about when they played last year, how that looked. Since Pittsburgh, you're right there, but we got that rushing attack was last year. Najee Harris is there. I'm sure he's going to help you guys improve, but let's just say you guys are in tier 2. Tier 1, we got Browns versus Ravens. Let's be real, Joy. How did it go last year with the Browns versus the Ravens? 38-6. That's mollywhopping. That's high school. That's taking off the shoulder pads, talking to the cheerleaders. What's up, homie? And then you play them again, and it gets tight. Oh, you're going to make us really work for this. 47-42. Who won that game? Baltimore beat the Cleveland Browns. Now, the thing I don't like about the Cleveland Browns is their inconsistency at the most important position, Baker Mayfield. I think he's going to play well enough for this team to do what they need to do. I think he's not going to be in a pressure situation because of the contract. Baker Mayfield knows he's a made man because he's restored whatever Cleveland used to have when I was growing up in the early 90s in football. So now we're looking at a situation of, can you take care of the football? Can you do the little things, penalties, turnovers, etc.? Joy, here's some trivia. What quarterback in the NFL has thrown the most interceptions over the last 3 seasons?
I'm going to guess it's Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield. Ding, ding, ding. That's the problem. And you know what that turns into? An offense that is 20th ranked or worse in 2 of his last 3 seasons. It's this. Baker Mayfield, has he had 2 consecutive good years yet? It's this. It's the roller coaster ride. So I look at a team that's trying to figure itself out. And you're finding your way versus the Baltimore Ravens. Some say underachieve, but at least they're consistent in their model, in their method, in their approach, and in their dominance over Cleveland.
No, again, I can't adamantly disagree with you.
Okay,
We're all kind of 1% here making a choice. I do not like the running back situation with the injuries for the Baltimore Ravens. Now, if they go out and sign Latavius Murray, I might feel better about it. Obviously, we know Lamar Jackson is a huge part of that running attack.
Le'Veon Bell on the practice squad.
Le'Veon Bell's on the practice squad. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about that. Le'Veon Bell isn't on the roster.
Right.
But I do think that we're going to have Odell back. Again, Baker is in another year of the system with the coach of the year and Kevin Stefanski. I think they have a little bit more culture now. You know, I know they're a little, all those stats you mentioned can't be argued with, but they do have a little bit more of an identity now. They're going to run the ball. They're not going to make Baker throw it more than he has to. They do have a good receiving core, good tight ends, and their defense is great. And again, I like the additions that they brought in, especially on the defensive side of the ball this year. This is a division that is about defense and running the ball. Now, Lamar Jackson not being a thrower of the ball is a myth. It's a mystery. I don't know why that exists. It's not true. Stop saying it. He can throw the ball. Like, it is not true.
Talk to him.
I just think that this will be the year that the Browns prove that they are a legitimate contender. And I can't believe I'm saying it. It's like, it doesn't taste good in the mouth. But that's what I think will happen this year.
Here comes the throwaway take. Go Slick, Bengals. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, look, I don't like what I'm tasting when it comes to vouching for the Browns either. But I agree with the whole idea that Lamar Jackson is the better quarterback. If we're talking about which team is going to win based on the quarterback, then I would have to go with the Ravens. What I believe that the Browns have figured out, though, is what Baker Mayfield can and can't do. And that the two matchups, that first decisive loss was the first game of the season for the Browns against the Ravens.
I get it.
And that second one was later in the season. So I feel as if they've evolved. And the reason why I believe in the Browns isn't because of Baker. It's because of everything around him and what Kevin Stefanski has figured out, which is how much to give Baker, not to give him too much, not to expect him to be the difference maker, but simply to utilize him as a manager. And what I get the sense of is that Baker is on board with that too. He's coming to understand, I just need to be a piece of this. I don't need to be the hero.
I give you that. I give you that. But the last 2 years, we see the Baltimore Ravens 9-3 in that division. And the first week of the season is always about the talent. The last ones, that's about the coaching. We'll talk about that another time. Tom Brady is the best player in football history, according to the Athletics NFL 100 list. The outlet cites Brady's competitiveness, along with his accolades, which include the most Super Bowl wins and the most playoff wins. Football legends Jim Brown, Jerry Rice, Lawrence Taylor, and Reggie White, they round out the top 5, with Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, Johnny Unitas as the other quarterbacks joining Brady in the top 10. Okay, we're about to get into this one. Joined now by Fox NFL analyst TJ Hushmanzada. So Slick, do you have a problem with Athletic naming Tom Brady the best player in NFL history?
Yes, I do have a problem with that because I don't know what it's based on. Obviously, best can mean a lot of different things, but best to me is most talented, best, not most successful. If this was most successful, then yes, Tom Brady would have to be at the top of your list. But if you're saying best, to me it means, are you the best player? And I can't give that to Tom Brady. I would still make the argument that pound for pound as a quarterback, Aaron Rodgers is more talented, has not accomplished as much, but all around is better. But the whole list is a mess. I don't mind if you take one philosophy or you have your own definition of what best is, that best is most successful. But if that's the case, then Jim Brown can't be number 2. Jerry Rice and any number of other guys have to move up. And if we're talking about best, then Tom Brady can't be best because we're talking about talent, pure talent, and then Deion Sanders and Barry Sanders have to be higher. And if we're saying best all around, then I'd probably put Jim Brown at number 1 because I think for his position, what he did and accomplished during his time in the league, nobody played the position the way that he did. So it's not so much an issue with Tom Brady. It's an issue with the list and not being clear on exactly what the dynamics were in selecting it. These lists are always subjective. When you're comparing guys in different positions and different eras, it's impossible. I'm going through the same thing right now at the NBA and picking the 75 greatest for the 75th anniversary. It's an impossible task to be fully objective. There's no defining line. But at least give me a constant philosophy that you are working off of that is consistent. And looking at this list, just the top 10, there's nothing there that is consistent about the selection.
Man, I'm with you, Slick. Oh, man, this is going to hurt me and pain me to take a shot at Tom Brady, but I listen to the words, and they matter. Greatest. Tom Brady is the greatest football player of all time. Is he the best football player of all time? Hell no. Will y'all stop with this? Look, here's the difference. Let's help these writers out at The Athletic. Greatest is after the fact. You know why? Because you can start adding accolades onto it, team achievements. You can put all of that and stack it up and make it bigger than what it was. But best is, can you do it? And it don't matter how it comes out. Long as I look at you and say, nobody can do it better than you. Now, Tom Brady at the quarterback position. Throughout his entire time, there's been conversations of someone doing it better than even Tom Brady. No one's doing it greater than Tom Brady because he always sits there like that with the confetti falling down on his head. But doing it better, when I was playing younger days, it was Peyton Manning. Is Peyton Manning better than Tom Brady? Most players would say, yeah, he's better. He ain't greater because he can't get over the hump. He finally did, but still not as many times as Tom Brady. So when you look at it now, Tom Brady, he's still in the conversation. Is he the best quarterback? No. Everyone goes to Aaron Rodgers, or even the youngsters are saying Patrick Mahomes. The point is, he's never sat there comfortable on the throne saying, I'm the best player. So if you never did that, how can you now look entirely in history and say he's the best to ever do it? Greatest? Yes. Best? No. I have a top 10 list here, and I'm going to save it for my next slap because my top 10 list is actually the best players. But I got to hear from TJ since he a baller. And last time I checked, Tom Brady owned y'all when he played y'all. 0-4 against Tom Brady, TJ was. 2 100-yard catching games, and 1 touchdown. TJ, the floor is yours.
So you're saying I did my part in those games. I did my part. We just came up a little short.
A little short, right.
So that's what I will say. He can be in an argument for the best players. I have no problem with it at all. And the reason I don't, Marcellus names Peyton Manning. You tell me when Tom Brady threw to a Reggie Wayne or a Marvin Harrison, oh, the year he had a great receiving core with Randy Moss, look what he did. Aaron Rodgers, Greg Jennings, Donald Driver, Jordy Nelson, Devontae Adams. You tell me when Tom Brady has had that. Oh, he had something similar in Tampa Bay first year. Or what did he do? He won the Super Bowl. So all this can be very you look at the guys that you're talking about that are the best, and you're naming quarterbacks. Look who they played with. Tom Brady has done more with less than any player ever in the National Football League. At all. There's no denying that. He's not. Tom Brady has never had the weapons. And when you give him the weapons, what does he do? Historical season when he had Moss. Oh, it's just my first year in Tampa Bay. They can't win. Nobody really cares about, we won the Super Bowl because I have good positional players around me. So him being in an argument, I have no problem because historically, if you look at it, he's done his part every year. You look, his first 2 Super Bowls, yes, the defense carried him. But nobody talks about Atlanta when he put the team on his back. Nobody talks about Philly, although they lost. He put the team on his back.
Strong.
I get, I normally, envy the opportunity that you guys have had in playing in the game and the knowledge that comes from that. But this is one instance where the fact that Marcellus can't take a shot at me because of what Tom Brady did to me on the field, I actually appreciate that that's just you, TJ, this conversation.
Right.
All that said, look, the problem is, as I see it with these comparisons and with Tom Brady is, TJ, you're talking about the pieces that he had around him. Yes, offensively, he didn't have studs, but defensively, he always had a great defense that he was playing with. And I can't help but feel that a lot of what is informing this particular list at this time is a little prisoner of the moment. That if we were putting this list together a year ago, that Tom Brady would not have been at the top of the list. It's a function of the fact that he went to Tampa Bay and won another Super Bowl. Even though, when you look at that Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, the group that he had around him was as big a reason for their success as Tom Brady was. Certainly he was the Pied Piper, but had a tremendous amount of talent around him. So that's where the distinction comes. It's like we look at collective success, and I think more in football than any place else, it's never one guy. It can't be one guy. The function of the game doesn't allow that. And yet we give all the accolades now. Because Tom Brady went to Tampa Bay and he won another Super Bowl, now he gets all the accolades for all the Super Bowls that were won in New England. And I think that's convenient. I think it's convenient, but I don't think it's accurate.
Say it.
That's the way it works. Hey, Marcellus, what was my record against New England?
You heard me, donut and 4. Donut.
Man, but hey, between the two of us, we was terrible. We were 1-7 because you were 1-3 against them, so it wasn't much better, huh? I was doing my research after you said that. Doing research.
Hey, but that's one. At least I smiled one time. I got Brady. Just you.
At least you held it down for one of us on here. I just look at it like this, Rick. Tom Brady consistently from start to finish, he's done 3 Super Bowl in his 20s, 2 in his 30s, 2 in his 40s, possibly 3 or 4 in his 40s. Who knows? He's been consistently good. And you guys have done this. You guys are the ones that put the quarterbacks on a pedestal. When I was playing, the quarterback, when he didn't do well, he didn't have a lot of help. When he did great, he was the best player in the world. Yes, sir.
Wait a minute. What was that word you used?
You all.
Consistent.
You guys.
What?
You.
No. Consistently. What?
He said good.
He's been consistently great lately.
Consistently
No.
good.
He was consistently good early.
We're not erasing that.
Good.
He's been consistently
He was
great
consistently good. He has been consistently good. Occasionally great. Consistently good, occasionally great.
If we have to answer this question, you guys can't name a player that played in the National Football League that's accomplished more than Tom Brady. You just can't.
And we know that, but we ain't trying to say that. That's a different conversation. And that's the problem between greatest and best. Here's the answer. Greatest, you give that away at the banquet because you got to measure everything that they did on the field, but you also got to measure in the accolade and how it all added up. Best, look, we're going to do that in the stands when you go to Pop Warner games. TJ, I know you do it. Slick, I know you do it. Everybody does it who's been around the game before. You go to a high school game. You go to a Little League game. And literally you're sitting there and you're hearing every parent, go, baby Timmy, go, baby Johnny. And you sitting there in your head quiet like, only 2 of these dudes look like they something. The rest of these dudes ain't got a shot in hell, right? But you don't want to bust any bubbles.
I just did that last weekend.
Exactly. So I'm sitting there always like this, and then some parent gets daring. Oh, you see my son out there, number 7? I'm like, uh-huh. And if I don't answer anything else, number 7 ain't gonna do it. Number 7 ain't the best. Number 7 ain't gonna make it like that. Okay. It's that simple. It's a talent-based conversation. So when you talk about
How did you know my son's number is number 7? How did you know that?
I was there. So here's the thing, Slick. It's so crazy we're doing this right now. The evaluation, when you say greatest, it's like you and all of y'all. Like, what have you accomplished? What is best? It is focused. It is directly on you. And let me drive this home with my top 10 list. Tell me if y'all agree with me. Number 10, best players ever, Aaron Donald. Ding, 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 ding. 9, LaDainian Tomlinson. 8, Dan Marino. 7, Patrick Willis. 6, T.O. 5, John Randall. 4, Junior Seau. 3, Bruce Smith. 2, Deion Sanders. And who's number 1? Let's see if y'all know.
Jerry Rice.
Man, get out here. Slick. Best? No. I ain't say greatest.
Ray Lewis.
Ooh!
Or LT.
Ooh!
LT.
Ooh! I left both of them off. Barry Sanders, best player ever, no doubt.
You went all defense. I figured you were going to stay consistent.
And I went all teammates. Love my boys.
Despite losing to the Bucs in Super Bowl 55, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are the favorites to win Super Bowl 56, according to Fox Bet. Mahomes will likely be an MVP favorite as well, along with Chargers QB Justin Herbert in an AFC West that looks to be more competitive this year. The New York Post argues it's Super Bowl or bust for KC while they have Mahomes in his prime. So, TJ is back with us, but I'll start with you, Marcellus. Is it indeed Super Bowl or bust for the Kansas City Chiefs.
No, it's not Super Bowl or bust. God, Lee, these articles, these publications, man, they get bored before the game started happening for real because they got to just write anything. Super Bowl or bust. Last time I checked, they're one of the favorites this year. And did they win the Super Bowl last year? So they're coming off a bust year last year, and they still predicted to do it again this year. What they really want to say is this, Slick, that while you're in your prime, take advantage of these opportunities because you never know how long you're going to have these opportunities. Well, let me tell you how long they're going to have these opportunities. As long as they got Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes could be 35 years old, and if he's still Patrick Mahomes, as Tom Brady is showing at age 43, 44, that they still can go out there and get it. Now, that may sound like a lot of hyperbole. You may not even believe what I just said. Let me give it to you this way. After the age of 27, do you know John Elway won 2 Super Bowls? Do you know before he was 27? 0. Oh, I thought it was Super Bowl or bust. What about Kurt Warner? 0 before age 27. How about after? Got 1. What about Peyton Manning? None before. How about after? 2. Drew Brees, did he get 1 young? No. Did he get 1 after? Yes. Did Aaron Rodgers get his? No. Did he get 1 after? Yes. Here's the point. Y'all need to stop with this. These quarterbacks, like a John Elway, who was at the end of his career, ran off back-to-backs. You look at a Tom Brady, who had to leave a home for 20 years that he helped build with 6 championships, first destination, first year, Super Bowl championship at the age of 43. Y'all stop. As long as Patrick Mahomes is a beast, as long as they could dress him up appropriately with resources and weapons and a little bit of a defense, he's always going to be in this position. No, it's not Super Bowl or bust.
I knew that we disagreed on this topic. I just couldn't figure out how or why we disagreed on this subject. But now that I know, and it's not our view of the Kansas City Chiefs or Patrick Mahomes, it's our view of what championship or bust actually means. And for me, it is, would this season be an abject disappointment if they don't win a Super Bowl? As opposed to, this is their last chance to win a Super Bowl. And you can interpret it either way. I don't think it's defined particularly. But for me, no, I don't believe it's their last chance to win a Super Bowl. I might put that on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers before I'd put it on the Kansas City Chiefs. But I do believe that anything short of winning the Super Bowl will be a disappointment for all of the reasons that you gave, Marcellus, and number one being Patrick Mahomes. As long as you have Patrick Mahomes, and based on what they've done the last 2 years, not just getting there, but winning it all is what it's all about. I dare say that the reasons and the changes that they made during the offseason, which was completely revamping their offensive line, I've never seen a team get to the Super Bowl and revamp and rebuild itself with one specific thing in mind, to fix the thing that cost them Super Bowl. Never mind what got them there. Like, that's the thing we didn't have that didn't allow us to win it, and we're going to change that out. And so, for me, because they did that, because of what they invested in that, and because you don't know how many shots that you get, I would expect that they're going to get plenty with Patrick Mahomes, but injuries happen, etc. I do believe that if they don't win the Super Bowl this year, if they don't get revenge for what happened last year, then it will be a disappointment, and that's a high bar to set. But nonetheless, I believe that's exactly where it is for the Chiefs, and that's how I am interpreting championship or bust.
Every team that has a legit chance of winning will be disappointed if they don't win a Super Bowl. When your quarterback is 25 years old, no season is Super Bowl or bust, because you assume, and rightfully so, we're going to have at least another decade to go at this. Only 4 quarterbacks in the history of the NFL have made it to Super Bowls in their first 4 seasons. Only 4. Multiple starts. And the 4, Kurt Warner, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson. Out of those 4, only Tom Brady has won a Super Bowl after that, after the first 4 years. And so we assume Patrick Mahomes will win another Super Bowl. But when you're 25 years old, never is it Super Bowl or bust. Now, if he was 35, quite possibly. 25, absolutely not. What's the rush?
It's season number 4. Jon Gruden's 10-year contract with the Raiders. And Las Vegas has yet to make the playoffs. Last week, GM Mike Mayock admitted that he and Gruden, quote, feel like we need to be a playoff team this year. This week, Gruden gave his thoughts on the season, saying, quote, I don't really feel pressure. Mark Davis is going to let me know if it's good enough or not. And I know what's good and what isn't. I'm 58 years old now, and I'm not working any less than I did when I was 38, so I'm doing the best I can, damn it. TJ is back, but Slick, you love or hate Jon Gruden saying he feels no pressure.
As a Raiders fan, I would hate it. As a Bengals fan, oh, I love it. Because my team normally pays a price for not spending any money. And the Raiders are paying a price for having spent too much money. Jon Gruden doesn't feel any pressure because he's in the 4th year of a 10-year, $100 million contract. Jon Gruden, but he's going to feel pressure from who? Mike Mayock? He hired Mike Mayock. So, and he's already said, as far as this upcoming season is concerned, that whether they're going to meet expectations or not has everything to do with quarterback Derek Carr. So he's already lined up his scapegoats if things continue to go the way they've gone, which is not what you would expect from somebody who's getting paid $100 million over 10 years. But again, what's the fallout? They fail, they don't succeed. He's got generational wealth. What, they're going to fire him and now he gets to go home and draw that $100 million? There is no downside for Jon Gruden, and Mark Davis is the architect of it. So he's getting exactly what he deserves.
Man, not only generational wealth, no state tax, damn. So that's like $150 million out there at least. Oh, my God, he eating out there. You know what? I've always been a fan of Chucky, and I love Jon Gruden saying he doesn't feel any pressure. Sounds like a real secure person to me. I'm going to make light of this, but this is a serious topic to me in the sense of if you're doing your best, what else are you supposed to do? Like, I hate when people go around here and they're really trying to actually play their role based on other people's thoughts and desires and expectations of them. When it's simpler than that. The simple way of approaching life is do your damn best. And always be open-minded, pliable, self-correct, etc. But do your best, and that's it. But people will try to drag you based on their expectations of what the best is for you. And to me, this is me talking, the only time I see people respond to other people's expectations is when they know they ain't doing their best in the first place. So, Jon Gruden, I love you for being secure about this. Trust your input, and the output and results will come. And Jon Gruden is saying, hey, y'all, if y'all really want to pay attention, they're coming. Raiders have won 4 games in this first season. Then they won 7 games in the second season. Then they won 8 games. That's called improvement. Okay, you remember that the Raiders only have 1 playoff appearance since the Super Bowl appearance in 2002, when Chucky whooped up on them. He's only one of 9 active head coaches with a Super Bowl ring. Y'all acting like this dude is not out there putting in work and getting this situation better. The offense went from 23rd to 11th to 8th. Top 10 offense now we see it. So when you go to a situation where they only won a playoff game in, what, 19 years, 20 years, and they haven't won more than 9 games but once over the last 18 seasons, what the hell y'all expect? Instant results? They didn't expect that. That's why they gave him a 10-year deal, because they know it's going to take time. And so far, Chucky's been responding with that time.
I guess I'll go in reverse a little bit with this one. You talk about the Raiders not winning a playoff game. Well, guess what? The last playoff game Jon Gruden won was when he beat that same Raiders team almost 20 years ago. I love that he feels that way. I really do. I just hate that he said it publicly.
Oh, okay.
You should feel that way. You're on the front end of your contract. He's not even on the back 9 yet. You're on the front end of this contract. But don't come out and say it. Because people like us and others that are true fans of the Raiders, they're going to bash you for that. You can't do that. And you're talking yards offensively. They're the 24th ranked offense, points-wise. Scoring offense, 24th. You're supposed to be an offensive guru, Jon Gruden. We have to do better than that. And so I love that he feels that way. You just don't say that publicly because perception is almost as if I had this 10-year contract. What they going to do to me? I'm good over here.
Right.
That's true.
Don't do that.
That's true. Look, as a player, I used to see the podium talk all the time from coaches and players. I used to see cats go up to the podium, act like they almost about to shed a tear when we had a loss. Soon as they get back behind the curtain, they're like, hey, what we doing tonight, dog? What it do? So sometimes you got to project that perception that you really care. I hear you, TJ.
The Patriots released Cam Newton during roster cuts and hitched their wagon to rookie Mac Jones. Bill Belichick explained the decision, saying, quote, I have nothing but positive thoughts and feelings for Cam. He came in here, he worked hard. He gave us everything he had. Right now, our future is going to be Mac at quarterback, and that is where we're going to go. So, Marcellus, how bright is the Patriots' future with Mac Jones?
Oh, I think it's going to be brighter than it was last year, obviously. I think it's going to be very bright going forward because of the belief in Mac Jones playing the Patriots way. The Patriots way, as I learned the hard way, I had a 1-3 record against the Patriots, was not to go out there and win games, but make sure you don't lose the same game. And that's how they play. I mean, it's just so close to the vest. Very disciplined football. So I just want to play a little over-under game with you right now, Slick Rick. And let's just base it off of last year's production at the quarterback position. Everybody know I was a defender of Cam Newton and his 21 total touchdowns. But at the same time, over-under, do you think Mac Jones is going to have 21 total touchdowns? Over. Yeah.
I'll go over.
Yeah. You didn't have to take that long. It was easy. Okay, what about 8 passing touchdowns? Let's make it easier for you.
I'll go over.
Okay, that's the point. Look, at that position, they didn't get much from Cam Newton, and that was still a 7-9 team that was in 4 close ball games with the ball in their opponent's territory when the clock expired. That close, if you squint, this team may have won 11 games with Cam Newton. Love you, bro. 8 passing touchdowns and 21 total touchdowns. Mac Jones is going to do more than that at that position. But more importantly, he's going to keep them in the position and the philosophy that they love to play in, which is, hey, we don't need you to go out there and win the game. Just make sure you don't lose it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It is brighter than it was a year ago because if Bill Belichick found his guy and he didn't have to move up to get him, unlike the San Francisco 49ers. So he didn't have to utilize any additional resources. And I look at the offensive line that Cam Jones is playing behind, unlike Zach Wilson or Trevor Lawrence. I mean, what did I say? Did I?
Zach and
Mac
Trevor,
Jones.
You're in the division.
The line that he's playing behind. Yeah.
Look,
the value that he has or the time that he's going to have as a result of playing behind a great offensive line, that is critical for a young quarterback to have. And he has a coaching staff that has been successful, a proven track record in developing rookie quarterbacks and making them a success. So when I put it all together, Bill Belichick's ability, I think you pointed it out, his ability to put Mac Jones in his sweet spot, not to ask him to do too much, but simply to be able to take advantage of what they have. There's nobody better at that than Bill Belichick. So he is put in a position to succeed and certainly do more for them than Cam did a year ago.
Yeah, this question loaded anyway. I could go racial right here. Of course, it's brighter. Let me stop. Boston would love to eat that joke up right there. Mac Jones versus Cam Newton. See, I ain't going to go there. Yes, I am. Let's talk about how the suburbs used to be the real suburbs. The suburbs ain't the same now. But back in the 80s, when I was playing young football, Pop Warner football, the suburbs were real. And I always use this as contrast. I had a team that we didn't lose a game to the 4th season in the championship game. So we were like 40-0 before we played this championship game, right? We're the inner city team that had all the talent. And we go out there in the championship game, so you got to respect your opponent. But look, we done won 3 championships in a row. This is our 4th one we're about to get, right? And we had to face this team that had all discipline and no talent. And I remember looking at it when everybody did it in jumping jack. 1, 2, go Inglewood, Chiefs. And we laughing like, damn, they look sorry. We about to wax. Still hurts. 4th quarter, 7-3. Yeah, we down. We losing. I'm like, what is going on? And I swear, that moment, I didn't feel that again until I got to the NFL playing the Patriots. You look around, you're not always amazed. You look up, look at the scoreboard. It's laughing at you once again. Zach Wilson hopes to be part of the Jets' turnaround, and the rookie quarterback thinks his experience at BYU will help him. Wilson explains, saying, quote, "We weren't great when I got there. We were 4-9. And then we just kept fighting through adversity and getting better every year." Cougars won 11 games last year in Wilson's junior season. So, Slick, are you sold on Zach Wilson turning around the Jets?
No, I'm not. It's not a one-man job. God bless you, Zach Wilson. You haven't been paying attention to New York Jets history. No, it's going to take more than that. And that's the problem, is that in New York, they all too often think it's just going to be the solution. One guy, one quarterback's going to change everything. Well, if that's the case, then have your front office get that quarterback into camp on time and don't have a contract squabble.
Oh, I'm with Zach. Oh, he going to turn it around. You know why? I went to Columbia 2-8 to 8-2. I remember when the Jets used to spank us, Testaverde and Big Tuna. Hey, Rex and Mark Sanchez did something. So Zach Wilson, Robert Saleh, it's your turn.